Good evening. Welcome to Vibin with Ashley Live. I'm your host, Ashley Live, and this is episode 160 of my show. My guest this evening is the beautiful and talented singer-songwriter Samara Brown. Samara grew up in a very musical household, so it was only natural for her to gravitate towards the craft. In 2021, she was featured on season 21 of NBC's hit show, The Voice, on Teen John Legend. She is currently working on her debut album, and she's coming on my show to talk all about it. So, hey guys, thank you for joining me. Paris Whittingham is in the house. Voice fam, what's up? I love all my beautiful and talented contestants that have been on The Voice. The Voice is one of my favorite shows, and if you know this show, you know that I've interviewed so many people that have been on The Voice. So I'm very excited to chat with Samara tonight. Whenever you're ready, request to join my live. Hi guys. Where are you tuning in from tonight? I'm in New York. Paris. Guys, if you watched the last season of The Voice, you know how incredible Paris Whittingham is. Guys, follow him. Paris is amazing, and he was on my show a couple episodes ago. Hi, guys. Hello, hello. Hi, guys. There she is. Hi! How are you, Samara?
Hi.
I'm doing well. Thank you
I'm
so
good.
much
How are you?
for coming on my show. I'm so excited to have you on.
Of course. Thank you
Of
for
course.
having me. Thank
When
you for
I saw
asking
your
me.
blind audition on The Voice, I was like, "Ooh, I love your voice." It like swept me off my feet. You know what I mean? Like I was like, I need to talk to you.
Oh,
Of course.
thank you. Well, I appreciate you having me. And I I love to be on another
And I think
show,
it's so
just to show
important
my pretty
when you go
face,
on a show like The Voice, right? And it's all like edited and they only show like certain parts of your audition and things that you do to actually have a voice outside of the show. And that's why I started the show, is to interview incredible musicians and have you tell your story to people.
Yeah, definitely. Because there is a lot that goes on, like, behind the scenes, and also just like with the artists in general, like the
Yeah.
inner workings of what's going on with us internally. There, there's a
Yeah,
lot
like
that
I
people
can only
don't
imagine the
see.
amount of footage that these producers have of you and the other contestants on the show. Yeah, but where does it
They
go?
have a
Like,
lot.
is
They
it in a vault? Like,
of
where is it? Like, where does all this footage go though? Because they
huh?
only use like kind of small little.
I don't know. I don't know what they do with it. To be honest with you, I have no clue what they do with it. For all I know, they throw it in the trash. For all I know, they keep it for
Yeah,
forever
I
and
think
ever.
they need to do
I'm not
like
even sure.
another episode of The Voice, like voice bloopers, and just show like the behind the scenes because it's. I think that's really cool for people to see that.
Yeah, it would be really cool if they like brought
Yeah,
contestants from like the season. Like when they do that another shows to like everyone talks about the season
I think it would
afterwards.
be
That would be
cool for
cool
them to bring back like
actually.
a couple people from season 10, season 21, season 4, like, and kind of have you guys all learn from each other. I think that would be like the voice camp, if you will.
Yeah,
Yes.
or like the Voice All
Yes. Oh my gosh. I hope
Stars.
the producers are listening because like we want more amazing singers.
For sure, for sure. I mean, it's been quite the journey being on the show, and I don't know what goes through the producers' minds when they come up with the ideas for the show, but either way, I'm
Yeah.
thankful that I was
And it
on
was
it, and
so
I'm thankful that
awesome
I
to
did
see
it.
you on that stage, so passionate and soulful and just rocking your blind audition song. Like, talk to me about that blind audition day. What was that like for you? Like, I guess start with when you first woke up to like when you finished the day.
Well,
Hmm.
I mean, I was insanely nervous. I definitely was doing, my regular warm-ups and
Hmm.
like, oh, someone said the sound is off. I was doing my regular, warm-ups and stuff like that. And I was like shaking, like trying to like shake my nerves. I was doing like jumping jacks and all that, and just trying to like shake off
Hmm.
all of these like butterflies that I had. And I got ready, did my makeup, got dressed, went down to wardrobe. It was a very long lead up to like
Hmm.
a very short time. And so it was a lot of waiting. And so I guess that was
Yeah.
really building up the anticipation for me and making me a bit more nervous than I already was. But either way, I was trying to exude confidence, and I felt good about the
Yeah.
performance that I was going to do because I spent a lot of time with it. And when I got on
Hmm.
stage, I just
Yeah.
was
I mean,
having
I
a good
think it's
time.
so cool that you just really commanded the stage because you did not show any sense of nerve when you were up there in your element.
I know, because I was trying to exude confidence, like I also like once I started in the song, I was just having a good time and I was kind of just feeling it because I've been performing for so long now that it feels like something just very natural to me. But after a while, I like
Yeah.
eased into
Yeah.
it. But I was
So,
nervous, trust me.
yeah, like,
I was
yeah, I can
taking
only
it
imagine. So,
inside.
when you saw John and Ari turn around, were your eyes open? Were you looking? Did you know what was happening?
I was definitely looking like
Oh,
straight
wow.
at John when he turned around, like at his face because I was just like, "Oh my God." And then I didn't even really even expect Ariana to turn. So when she did, I was just like, "All right, stay cool. Look at the audience. Keep performing." I was just trying to make sure I stayed on track with what I was there to do, and but it was definitely hard to
Yeah,
just
especially,
not stare at John the entire time.
yeah, and then he
Because
got
I'm
up
a
and he
big
started
John
dancing,
Lennon
and then
fan.
Ari was dancing, and it's like, did you see them dancing?
Yes, I did. But I was trying to like keep my cool and not like, like, oh my God, they're dancing to me singing. Like I was trying to,
Yeah.
just relax and just like make eye contact with the audience. And then like at the end when I saw Ariana bow, I was just like, oh my goodness. I was like,
Yeah.
Ariana Grande's bowing for me? It was crazy.
Yeah,
It
I
was
feel like
definitely crazy.
when those
Crazy
two
experience.
legendary musicians turned for you, dancing, excited, fight for you. I mean, at that point, you're like, I'm good. Like, for the rest of my life, like, those two people love me, so I'm good.
I mean, either way, the fact that both of them turned, I was
Yeah.
just like, this is all the confidence I needed. This is the only boost I needed from this show was to see
Yeah.
these two major artists
So
turn
you
for
picked
me.
the one and only John Legend to work with. And I know you said that you're a fan of John. What was it about John that was like, I'm going to go with him?
I guess I just have like a
Hmm.
longer connection with John and his music. I also resonate, I guess, with him because he's a piano player, which is one of my favorite
Yeah.
instruments, or probably my most favorite instrument. And I've
Hmm.
listened to all his music. I bought all his music. I vibe with the type of style
Yeah.
that he sings from. We come from a similar background, and then also from the things that he was saying to me after my performance really resonated with me. He just in specific ways of him and how he was going to work with me, and that was like really what hit on me. Because Ariana, I
Yeah.
mean, don't get me wrong, Ariana is incredible. Like she's a beast of a vocalist, but like she was like pushing more on like the followers and all that, and I was just like, I mean, in the end, I probably would have chosen Ariana if I had a second chance, just
Yes.
because I know the following that she has. in terms of musically and emotionally, I
Hmm.
definitely
Yeah, and it's like when you grow up
in that
listening to
moment.
somebody, loving their music and loving their style, and then say, "Hey, I love you. You're great. I want to work with you."
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
if Whitney Houston was ever a coach on a show and she turned, it's just like I'm picking Whitney. Like
So,
that's my
talk
choice.
to me about John as a coach. What did he teach you?
um, he basically told
Mhm.
me for a couple of songs to take my time, not rush into like the powerful part of the song, and also to not veer too far off from like the melody, to try and keep the the predominant melody that's there while still having your own kind of spin and trying to
Hmm.
find
Yeah,
that
like doing the
balance
song, but then also making it your own as well, because
without it being too much. And that's a hard thing
yeah,
to find, I think, for any singer. It's hard to find that line between, oh, am I doing this just like the track, or oh, I can't recognize what song this is. Like finding that middle ground
hmm
is
but I
is
love
a
the
difficult thing as
thing
a
with the
singer.
voice and how everybody who goes on that show and sings a song makes it their own. It's like it's so cool because you guys put your spin on it.
Yeah. Yeah, we have to. Like, I can't sing a song exactly like the track. Like, I would naturally just gutturally want to go to something else, to something that's more me. Because also, I don't have the vocals from of the singers whose songs I was singing. I don't have Shaka Khan's vocals. Like, I don't have Aretha Franklin's vocals. So, I have to find my own way in the song that works
Definitely.
for
So
me, for
going
my
back on
voice.
Chaka Khan, you picked Sweet Thing for your blind audition. Was that a song that you wanted to pick or they picked for you?
They definitely picked that one for me. But I still was like, I still mainly chose it as one of my songs, and that was the one that they chose. It's
Yeah.
it's a hard song, and I have never sung it live. I've listened to it many times, but I've never performed it. But it is a song that I do love and an artist that I
Yeah.
do love. It was just a challenge, and um, and I was actually in the end happy
Yeah, and
that
I
they
think it's
chose it
cool
because it worked
because
out for
you're
me.
right. It is a very challenging song. But I feel like when I heard you sing it, I felt like you had been singing it for days and days and days on end, like hours and hours, because you made it your own. So, like, talk to me about if it wasn't that song that they picked for you, what song would you have wanted to sing for your blind audition?
Um, I definitely had at the top of my list "I'm
Oh,
Your Baby Tonight"
yes.
by Whitney Houston, which is my absolute favorite
Yeah.
songs. Not only just to listen to, but to perform, because it has so much energy. It has that
Hmm.
typical '90s feel, and then like the range of
Yeah.
vocals is like, I feel very much in my pocket. So
Yeah. Oh my
yeah,
gosh,
I
I
would
would
have
have
loved
loved
to
to
do
see you
that
do
song.
that song too because you're right. It has so much energy and soul and passion, and it would have been so cool to see you sing it.
Yeah, and someone actually, I think it was
Yeah.
Riley, who ended up actually
Yeah.
performing that song later on. So I was just like, oh, they put my song in there anyways. He
Definitely.
killed it.
So,
So
talk to me about your time on The Voice. What was one of the most memorable moments being on that show for you?
um, I guess
Hmm.
I guess my experience with the coaches, having their advice, and also just performing in front of them, and performing also
Yeah, of
for thousands and thousands of people. Um, Having the opportunity for
course.
thousands of people to even hear me and see me. And so it was by far the time with the coaches and the time on that stage were the most memorable. But I did also, enjoy hanging with like some of the other people from The Voice. I'm a little bit of a recluse, so I didn't go out too much, but the times that I did, there was those handful of people from the show who I definitely loved to show with, and they were super cool,
Hmm.
super nice people, super talented, you know, and it was good to make those connections. But overall, I'm happy to have been on the show. Really is the
Yeah, it's such a
greatest
huge honor
opportunity that I've
because
ever
I
gotten.
think a lot of people that watch a show don't realize that they hold you like in the background and they wait for your number to be, and you're like waiting and waiting and waiting.
Yeah.
So, like, how many days did you wait for them to call your number? Yeah.
Oh, there was a long time. There were a lot of people there in the beginning, so it was a quite the wait. And then you have a bit of anxiety because you're not sure when they're gonna call you. The numbers are just like called randomly, so it's just like I'm not sure what day I'm gonna perform, and I'm not gonna know until the night before. So it's like extremely nerve
Hmm.
wracking, but
So
like
when you're
exciting
waiting,
at the
like
same
say day one, it's day
time.
one of the auditions. How long do you like wait that day to be called? Yeah, like because
You
they're
mean
randomly picking these
stage?
numbers. So is it like are you waiting like 12 hours for them to like call your number and then like you all go back to your hotel rooms or how does that work?
Um, I'm not sure for which you mean. You mean like
Yes.
the day of our performance? Oh, okay. Well, we find out the day
Okay.
before if we're gonna perform that next day, and we spend most of the beginning of the day like getting prepared. We do our warm ups and everything and makeup, and then we go to wardrobe, and then after we put on our wardrobe, we wait till our time to go over to the studio, and then when we're at the studio, it's pretty much like I would probably say I waited about maybe like
Mhm.
2 hours. No, 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 like an hour, because there were other people who would like either perform before me, but it was different for battles. Battles, we were second, so it was like it's like all over the place. It was like different timing each time, so
Yeah.
it was
And
hard
I
to
feel like
it
when
was
you're
hard
on
to
a show like
predict,
that,
really.
you're busy from the time you wake up until the time you go to sleep. Like you're busy practicing this, recording, filming, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, and then like a couple of days before, or after, we're doing like the interviews, and then like those little montage looks where we're like walking down the red carpet and everything. There's all that stuff,
Yeah.
and they don't even use all of that stuff either. So it's
Yeah, I've
it was
heard that
quite the
like sometimes they make
process.
you walk down the same hallway like 8 to 10 times, and you're like, oh my gosh, I've already done this before. Like, why are you making me do this again? This feels weird.
They asked us to do the same thing each time. There was a lot of like rubbing hands, like patient of like waiting to go on stage. Like this the same things
Uh-huh.
over.
So,
It
other
was
than
very
singing
repetitive.
that you wanted to sing Whitney for your blind audition, is there a song on that you wanted to sing on the show that you didn't have the opportunity to sing?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of songs I wanted to sing.
Hmm.
I wanted to sing "Without You" by Mariah
Yeah.
Carey, another favorite of mine. And I also wanted to sing the Celine Dion song. I can't remember the title right now. It's one of her more
Hmm.
popular songs, and I'm on it right now. There was definitely a
Yeah.
Stevie Wonder song. I wanted to do "Golden Lady" and kind of put my own spin on that. There's just so many songs that I absolutely love and would have loved to perform, but didn't get the chance to. Um, you know,
Yeah.
I have a long
So
list.
I want to start at like the very beginning of your life. So let's talk about some of those formative years in your life when music first came into it. Bring us back to that time.
I would
Hmm.
say it was definitely in church. Growing up, that was probably my first introduction to music, and we couldn't really listen to any like non-Christian music at the time, so that was predominantly the
Hmm.
main music I listened to, like Kirk Franklin and Rachel Lampa and like all those old school 90s Christian albums, like, and then, being in church itself. And then,
Hmm.
my mom was a musician. She's a pianist. And then, my dad plays multiple instruments as well. So I definitely
Hmm.
grew up into
And
a musical
yeah, let's
family,
talk about some of those
for sure.
first moments where you were with your parents listening to music. Like, what albums did they play for you?
Well, my mom was a
Uh-huh.
big Whitney fan,
Yeah.
where my love for Whitney grew. And and she also played Celine, she also played Mariah. Pretty much those three staple of like strong singers was like, at least from what I remember, the main music she played. My father is very religious, so he didn't really play anything that wasn't
Hmm.
Christian music. But other than that, I really didn't get to experience, I guess I would say, secular music until I got bought my first like album, which was
Oh,
like the
wow.
last Destiny's Child album. So I was like 14, I think, when I got my first like secular album. I was super excited. I bought like a new CD player, and I was just like
Yeah.
listening to that
But I
song
think it's
over and over
cool
and over
that
again.
your mom gravitated towards three powerhouse female vocalists like Whitney, Celine, and Mariah. Like, when you think of those women and the careers that they've had in the industry, and it's like, that's what you grew up on. So, like, you want to sound like them. Like, you're just like, oh my gosh, like, I can hold my own with Mariah Carey. Yes.
Oh, I wouldn't say that, but I wanted to sound like Mariah and Whitney and Celine. I
Yeah.
definitely like tried to emulate them for sure, listening to them. But but yeah, to be honest, like apart from listening to that music, I would definitely say, growing up in church and singing is
Hmm.
where that influence mainly came from. And that same influence was the same for those singers as well, those three large singers. So I definitely believe that because of my church upbringing is where I
Hmm.
gained
Yeah, and I think
that
being in
similar
the church and then
vocal.
singing with other vocalists as well, because a lot of those people, they're in church every Sunday and they've been singing for the past 40, 50, 60 years. And it's like you learn so much from those older singers.
Right. Yeah, you do. From really, I feel like
Right.
you can learn something from any piece of music. There's always something worth being able to grasp, whether it's something that
Right.
you want to do or something that you should
But
do.
I think like you need to like fail in music, fail if you will. And then someone's like, oh, maybe you're doing it wrong, or you should do it this way because then it sounds better.
Yeah.
Because,
Wait, say
okay,
that
so
one more
you're
time.
in the church and you're singing with all these people, right? And they're very amazing, amazing singers that know their craft. And so I think sometimes, like, you need to mess up sometimes when it comes to vocals. Like, maybe it doesn't sound right, or maybe you need more practice. And then they're like, oh, okay, you need to fall first. And then we,
Oh yeah, definitely. You definitely need to make, and I think that goes, the same for life as well. I feel like we all need to make
yeah.
those mistakes, even though we don't want to, because they eventually lead us
Hmm.
to where it is that we are trying to get to. As a singer, as a performer, if I didn't make any mistakes, I would
Yeah.
never progress as an artist at all, or as an
Hmm.
artist. So definitely, yeah. Being around, different kind of singers, different kind of artists, different kinds of musicians, I feel like you take what it is that you need, and you learn from them, and they give you advice, and you take it with a grain of salt. And sometimes it's the advice that changes your career, and sometimes it's just something where you're like, thanks, but no thanks, type of advice. But either way, I feel like it's just important to remain humble and
Hmm.
just like move through life how it is that you're supposed to move and learn from that,
Yeah,
learn
I
from
think
your
sometimes
mistakes,
you
basically.
need to mess up, like you said, in order to be like, okay, now I'm on the right path. Like I did that. That's like a one-time deal, and now I'm moving in the right direction. So, as far as like
Definitely.
getting good
Yeah, for
advice from
sure.
other singers, what's the best advice you've ever received? Yeah.
The best
Yeah.
advice, like in my entire life? Ooh,
Or maybe from like a singer
that's a
that
hard
like
question to
maybe you
answer.
met in college or maybe while you were touring and someone gave you a good piece of advice.
Um, I would definitely say the best advice I've ever gotten. I guess probably the best advice I got
Mhm.
was when I was in Spain, and I was a very different singer at that time when I first started.
Mhm.
You know, I was like incredibly shy. I didn't really have any kind of confidence, and I was always just in my head about what it
Mm.
was that everyone else wanted me to do. And and so I would like sing with my eyes closed the entire song, and I was just like this terrified little cat just like singing on stage. And the other singer who I was singing with, I can tell that you are terrified of what people will
Mhm.
think what they will think who you really are as a person. And she was like, and I can't give this to you, but you'll come to a moment when you won't really, I mean, excuse my language,
Yeah.
but you won't really give a shit about what people think. That'll be the moment that you come out of your shell and you start to grasp art itself as something where you're not really paying attention to what other people
Yeah.
think. You're doing what it is that feels natural to you. And that I feel is where like
Mhm.
real artistic expression comes from. And so I guess that's my long-winded way of saying that's the best advice I got. Because after that, I kind of I became
Yeah.
a lot more confident as a singer.
Because I think sometimes we're so concerned with what other people think about us, but then when you kind of like let it go and you're like, they're just gonna accept me for who I am. That's like I feel like when you find that freedom.
Yeah, or you don't even care if they accept you for who you are. You know, you just are up on stage and it can be complete silence, but you are still there to
Mhm.
express. You are still there to have a good time, and regardless of what people may think. And I feel like when you
Yeah.
gain that as an artist, it's incredibly freeing. And I think
Hmm.
that's when you
Hmm.
are more
And I think
genuine
it's
in
so
your art,
important when
definitely.
artists live genuinely and in a vulnerable position because then the right people will follow you.
Yeah, and it's hard to be vulnerable on stage more than I think people realize. It's very difficult, especially
Yeah.
when you're doing your own music. You know, that is your story, your
Right.
personality, you know, unless you're taking on a character, but when I'm on stage performing my
Yeah.
music, you know, I'm pretty much 100% me. So
Yeah.
I feel incredibly vulnerable. I've definitely, you know, over the years have come to, you know, not care as much,
Hmm.
and it feels great.
So let's talk about some of those original music because you have been working on your debut album. Yes, talk to us about that.
Yes, it has been
Mm.
a tumultuous journey, I will say. It's still kind of in the process, just because at the moment I have like a lot of other stuff going on, but I've been sitting on these songs for about, I would say, maybe like
Really?
10 to 15 years. Some of them written, yeah, when I was going through
Oh,
like
wow.
insane moments of like heartbreak and loneliness and just like, and I was just like planning of what I was going to do with these songs for years, but never really having the actual confidence to do them, because I'm just like, how do I want to do this song? How do I want to do this song? Like, what are people going to think? Like, are they going to like it? Are these lyrics too dark or too sad? And you know, just being so much in my head, as I always am. And so it's been and being an artist in the city, living in the city
Definitely.
itself is expensive, recording is expensive. It takes time. It takes time to come out with a decent album, and I think more time than people realize. I
Yeah.
feel like people
Yeah.
are like, so when are you coming out with your music? And I'm just, well, I don't just want to release, I just want to give you guys crap. Like, I don't want to just, record something on a cheap mic and then, release it to the world, because, this is something that's going to be
That,
under my name for the rest of my life. I want it to be some of the best work that I can deliver at this time. So, it's a process.
yeah.
And, but it's in the wings, it's coming, and I'm hopefully, if I'm able to get the stuff I want to get and the people I want to get together, I'll have it out, hopefully by this summer. But
Amazing.
it's definitely.
I think it's very interesting that you have had these songs for 10 to 15 years. Like, I think that's amazing, because I try to think where I was 10 years ago. I'm like, I was a totally different person. Right?
Yeah. Yes, definitely. But the heartbreak, I definitely like when I go back to those songs. It's kind of like when you listen
Yeah.
to a specific album for a certain part of your life, and when you go back to it, it's almost like you're
Definitely.
re-experiencing like all of those feelings. It's kind of the same with these songs. Like, I feel like heartbreak is incredibly relatable. So it's definitely something that once I perform the song again, I'm just like, okay, yeah, this is where I was.
Yeah, because I think like
This is
we've
the
all
place I was
gone
in.
through heartbreaks where we lose somebody that we love. And it is a very devastating, horrible time. And we're like so upset about it, right? But then to look back on it 10 years later, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, but like writing this song
Yeah.
healed me.
Yeah, definitely. It's almost kind of like I would say kind of like when you if you go do boxing and you're just kind of like punching the bag.
Yeah.
It's kind of just like this like release. And like once you get it out, because like I'm a big writer. I like to write. I like to journal. So like whenever I feel like I'm going through something very difficult in my life, writing is kind of like my release. And it's the same with writing songs. Like once I can sing out the experience of what I was going through, then it's almost like kind of like I can like let it go. Like it's been processed. It's on the page. So now
do
I can
you
move
keep
on.
journals from like the past 10 to 15 years of your life? Wow.
Oh, yeah, I have all my journals from when I was a little kid.
Wow, that is cool. Yeah, that's really cool. Do you write every day? Like, do you journal every day?
I don't journal every day now just because it's very time consuming. And I find that I only like to write when I'm going through something difficult. When I'm like happy, I'm not usually like journal writing. Like it's when I'm like going through some really tough like stuff where I'm just like,
yeah,
I gotta get this out. So no, I don't journal every day, but I wish I want to get back into like journaling more often.
And I think it's cool when you have journals from your life and you're like, where was I in January of 2020, right? And then you're like, oh, this is where I was. Because I think like time goes by so quick. So when, I mean, like, what happened in the past month, but like what happened a year and a half ago, right? So it's cool to have that to look back on and be like, oh, I was going through this, or like, this is what I was going, you know what I mean? Like, it's cool to like look back and remember that time. Even though it's probably like a difficult time, you're still going to remember it through your writings.
Yeah. No, definitely. I'm definitely re-experiencing that same heartbreak every time I perform the song. It's almost sometimes it's very like traumatizing to be that vulnerable. Re-experience pain that you kind of wanted to let go. But at the same time it's almost like a re-release again, Like looking through memories can be, incredibly
Yeah.
joyful or incredibly painful. But you
Right.
kind of like
Hmm.
take it in
So
stride.
I want to talk about your time touring because you toured overseas with a jazz trio. So talk to us about that.
That was actually the first time I ever went outside of the States. I went to Russia and I was in Moscow performing with the jazz trio. They had heard
Hmm.
me singing in the city, and so they invited me to come out to sing in Russia. And so I went out there by myself. Like it was incredibly nerve-wracking to be in a completely different country for the first time by myself. And I was
Yeah.
super young. I was like 23, 24. So, and as a Christian
Hmm.
girl, who grew up in the Bronx, like it's a very daunting
Right.
thing to be thrown in such a different culture like Russia. And yeah, and we performed at a couple like different clubs there in
Yeah.
Moscow, and it was super cool. It was super dope. I mean, I'm not a
Yeah.
fan of the cold weather in Russia. And also the
Hmm.
people are very, very serious there. Like
Yeah.
it's hard to kind of get a reaction out of them when you're performing. But like all the people will come up to me afterwards and they'd be like, "You were so great," and I was just like, "You were there?" I didn't hear or see you when I was performing,
Yeah.
but I'm glad you had a good time. But yeah, it was quite the experience, and it was my first ever traveling
Hmm.
experience.
And
So
you
it
also
was it was
performed
dope.
other
I had a
places
good time.
overseas, right?
Yeah, I
Hmm.
performed a couple different countries overseas. I've been to Spain. I've been to Indonesia. I've been to Hong Kong,
Very cool.
and I've
So
been
did you
to
have
Morocco.
any like fun venues that you loved performing at or cities that you liked being in?
By far,
Hmm.
Spain was
Hmm.
definitely my favorite. By,
Oh, okay.
I mean, and I was also in Ibiza, so it's
Yeah.
like party island. So it'd be kind of hard not to have a good time there, but also I just loved
Yeah.
being enveloped in Spanish culture. It also forced me to learn Spanish, which I've been trying to do for years, and so kind of being forced into it was really what pushed me to learn. So
Hmm.
it was great.
How's
I
the food
loved
over
being
there?
in Spain. Um,
Yeah.
Particularly in Ibiza, it wasn't that
Yeah.
great just because it was kind of like a touristy island. I did get to
Hmm.
visit the mainland. I got to visit Madrid,
Yeah.
and the food was impeccable.
Only
It was really
imagine how amazing the food is
good.
in Spain.
Yeah, the paella by
Yeah.
far is so good. I was a fan. Some rice with some seafood, and I'm Puerto Rican and Jamaican, so
Yes.
rice for me is just like a staple. So I was in
I
love.
love it. So let's talk about some of the music that you're currently listening to. Artists, genres, any cool albums that you're listening to?
I'm kind of like all over the map just because I'm trying to just like
Yeah.
expose myself to all different kinds of new music. I've been a lot with um, a band that I kind of fell away from, and I've now been
Okay.
re-listening to Coheed and Cambria. I've been listening to a lot of R&B, Lucky Day, Jasmine, and then a bit of old school Parliament and a lot of Stevie because there's so much music from Stevie that I haven't even experienced yet that that I'm still trying to catch up on. A bit of Prince. I've been trying to get caught up on. There's so many. I definitely really, really love a lot of rock, and I've been trying to get in
Hmm.
touch with more of the Beatles
Yeah.
music. There's just so much. I just like I
Yeah.
just love listening to new music, just so I can have
Hmm.
all of these genres floating around in my brain. But I would definitely say recently it's been probably more
Mhm.
R&B soul, just cause and funk, just cause that's where I want to go in terms of my writing, in terms of my music. So those have definitely been like more of the staples, but usually
Yeah. I think
I'm
it's
eclectic. Like I
important to
like
listen to a
everything.
lot of different things, right? Like rock and soul and R&B and funk, and then you kind of like can take different things from different artists, and you're like, oh, I love that one line of the song, and then you like think of that line, you're like, yep, here's my song now, based off of that one line.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's definitely like inspiring in terms of like
Yeah.
what you want to talk about and what you want to write about, but also like musically and like production wise, what are things that you like and what other people do in their music? I definitely think
Hmm. And especially
is worth
Stevie,
listening
right?
to
You're
for
like,
sure.
oh my gosh, there's so much Stevie music, like tons.
It's like there's just
I
like this is just university right here. Just going through his albums is like
Yeah,
it's just basically like going back to music school. Like
yeah.
I'm learning everything I need to
Hmm.
learn from this music. Like harmonically, melodically, lyrically, and
Yeah.
then just vocally. There's just
Listen,
everything.
you listen to one Stevie song and you're like, wait, I need to listen to that again. Like, I don't even, like, I can't even speak. Like, you're just so moved from what you heard and you're like, oh, there's 8 more songs. Do you know what I mean?
I to a Stevie song 50 times and still
Right.
not know what's going on melodically. I'll be completely lost about how he does what he does harmonically because also he's
Yeah.
just like a genius musician. So like, and I have his brain, so I'm just like sitting there trying to contemplate how he's doing this and why it
Yeah.
feels so good. You know, I'm trying to get the formula.
Oh my gosh. I mean, yeah.
Give me the
I mean,
formula.
I think I think so many people are influenced by Stevie because he is just a legend. Like, I mean, I feel like sometimes I don't even have the words to describe him because the music and the songwriting and just the person and everything that he is about is just next level.
Yeah, him as a person too. I was actually very blessed that I got to see him perform live in concert, and
Yeah.
it was just mind blowing. Like, and he sounds still at
Yeah.
his age. I think he's in his 70s. Like, he still sounds like the record, and I can't. I'm like, he's literally
Yeah.
still blowing as if he's 13 years old. Like I can't comprehend. And then he was just switching from instrument to instrument and just like fluently playing each one. It was just like, and then his music. I'm just so in love with his music. It's just like so captivating and inspiring. Like listening to him, just like, man, I gotta do more. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I'm
Like
not
the way
doing enough.
he's able to write a song. I'm like, what? Yeah.
I would love to see
Yeah.
his process for coming up with a song because I can't for
I know.
myself
Wait,
can't
so where did
comprehend
you see
how he
him? Did you
does
see
it.
him in New York?
I saw him in a
Oh,
stadium in Jersey.
wow.
This was years ago, and my friend had an extra ticket, and we both went. And it was funny because these two people after the show, they were like, I guess they were watching us because we were acting like complete fools, me and my friend. We're just like going crazy. And so I guess they saw us and they came up to us. They were like, "We saw you guys dancing. Like, do you want these
What?
backstage tickets? Because we're not going to use them." And I was like, we're both like, yes. First of all, why are you not using these? And second off, never mind. Thank you. Like, and I ended up going backstage
No
and we both
way.
ended up taking a picture with Stevie Wonder.
No way. So,
Yeah. I was like touching his like shirt. I was like, hopefully some of this greatness will rub off
wait,
on
two
me.
people approached you and said, hey, we're not using these backstage tickets. Do you want them? That's insane.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was like, I don't understand it, but I'll take it.
Wow. Wow. That
Please
is
and thank you.
amazing.
Yeah, it was wild. And that was my first time seeing him. So like to
I
see him
yeah.
in person, I was just like
Yeah, it's kind of like
I
you're like,
lost
are
my
you
shit
even
for
real?
sure. Right. Like, is this a person? He was also
Yeah.
super, super funny and
Aw.
silly too. Like he's a super cool dude. He's an amazing guy. So it's just like as an overall like
Yeah.
person and artist, you're just great.
Yeah.
How
That
about
must
that?
have been like
You're just like
such an incredible
royalty.
night for you. Not only seeing him perform, but then getting these backstage passes and then meeting him. Like, what? So cool.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it was amazing. I was definitely in that moment
So,
for sure.
what musicians inspire you? Definitely.
Oh, well, Stevie's definitely one,
Mhm.
as well as another one. Um, um, Whitney. Well, you mean specifically like music
Artists in general.
musicians or just like artists in general? Whitney, Shaka Khan for sure, Mariah, Celine.
Mhm.
I definitely love me some
Yeah.
Madonna. I love me some Michael Jackson. Some Janet Jackson as well. Gosh, there's just so much music I can't even like comprehend. I do love Beatles music as well. I'm trying to like rack my brain. Alicia Keys. I love John Legend.
Mhm.
I'm a big fan of Lady Gaga as well. Oh yes, thank you for reminding me, Saint. Definitely jazz singers like Sarah Vaughan. I'm obsessed with Ella Fitzgerald, Billie Holiday. Um, and there's just Aretha. Like, there's just so many.
Pretty much everyone.
All the legends. Like, yeah, I love me some Billy Joel as well. And I'm trying to think
Elton
of
John.
Rocket Man. Why am I blanking on his name? Yes, Elton. I love me
There's
some
so
Elton John as well. There's too many.
I
There's
know.
like
I
like
know.
a like
So I'm
500
going to give you
artist
a more
list. So,
difficult question. Who would you most like to collaborate with? Yes,
like
right now.
at this moment in time now, I would love if
Yeah.
I could collaborate with Jasmine Sullivan. That would be
Hmm.
super. Either Jasmine Sullivan or her. I'm big fans of both of their music and both of their
Hmm.
vocals, and they're very, very distinct in their own ways. And
Right.
that's also the realm of music I want to be in. So yeah, for sure. Either them
Hmm.
or I'm also a big fan of Yeba as well.
Yeah.
She's like a beast of a vocalist.
Yeah.
I would
I
love to
love
do
that you
something
gravitate towards
with.
powerhouse women vocalists. I think that's so cool.
I mean, yeah. I mean, just it's a yes.
Yes.
It's always a yes. Us females, we got to support each other, especially in this industry. We don't get a lot of the love, and especially Black women. So, I definitely want to be in the realm and
Mhm.
support
Mhm.
other Black
So,
female
for the beautiful
artists.
people
Definitely.
watching right now that want to support you as a musician, what can they do to support you on your journey?
Well, they can definitely follow me on here on Instagram as well as on TikTok and Twitter, all of the popular social medias, and they can also just I also have a website where you can sign up for any like kind of newsletter information or new information that's going to be going on in terms of like gigs or when I release music. So definitely
Hmm.
those are the main
And
ways
what's
to keep in
happening with you in the
touch.
next couple months? I know you said you've been working on your album, but do you have any like collaborations, projects, live dates that you're going to be pushing?
Not at the moment, no. Just
Right.
'cause like I'm still in the making process, and I got a lot going on in my personal life. Like I'm trying to move to a different apartment, so
Yep.
like that's gonna be like taking a lot of my time right now. But once that's, over and done with, I'm definitely going to be able to buckle down and like focus on my music. And then once I'm able to release the single and then release the EP, I will have dates and times.
Yes. So guys, stay tuned because
everything
a
for
lot of
y'all.
cool stuff is coming up. Awesome. Well, that's all the questions that I have for you this evening. But guys, don't go anywhere because you're going to perform for us.
I'm a little worried though
Want to
because
plug
there's
it
like
in? You want to go get the
5% on my
charger?
iPad. I mean, I have it right here. It's just a very short charger. So let's see if I can make it work. But
you want to know,
it's hard out here. I might have to change my
if your phone has juice, you can hop off and switch on into your phone if that's cool. I'm totally fine with it. If you need to hop off.
Oh. I might be able to.
Okay, cool.
I might be able to do that. Hold on. Let me see if I can join on my phone really quick. Yes. Sorry about this, guys. Technology. I didn't charge my iPad enough, and so here we are.
No worries. No worries.
Okay. Only thing is, I'm playing one of the songs from my phone, so will that be like
that might be an issue? Because when you're in a live, you can't really X out. Like for instance, if I was like, you know what I mean? Like if I was gonna play a song from my phone, it would be hard to do that.
So I'll just hey,
cool.
I'll just move and like charge my iPad. Just because I want you
yes,
guys
we are
to get
here and we will wait.
I want to get a chair and then I'm gonna sing for y'all.
We can hear you.
Can you see me? Am I there? All right. And I'm gonna just grab my instrument. And I'm gonna plug my iPad. Stay with me, y'all. Okay, let's see if I can make this work. Oh, I guess I can't put the camera the other way. That sucks.
Because the charger's at the bottom and you're
yeah. This is great.
Wait. I have a question.
Maybe I could do a sideways thing.
Wait, can you charge your iPad and play the song from your iPad, or does it have to be from your phone?
It's just I would have to send it to my iPad, and that's gonna be a whole nother.
No, it's okay.
I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't predict.
We just roll with the punches here.
Maybe I can. Hold on. I'm trying to come up with ideas. Maybe I can do this, where I put this plant behind. No, that doesn't work. All right. Well, maybe I can balance the iPad on the charger.
Okay. Hopefully
it's staying for now. Hopefully it doesn't move. All right. Okay. Cool. All right. I'm just gonna move up.
It works.
That works. So before anything else happens, I'm gonna start performing this first song for you guys. You don't know how to love. You don't know how to love. You don't know how to love a kiss, it isn't bliss, it isn't much. You don't know, you don't know, you don't know how I feel, what I want, what I need. When I'm down, you're not around. You don't know, since you don't know how to love. You don't know how to love. You don't know how to love. You don't know how to love, yeah. You don't know what is wrong, what is right. Just the light that's in his eyes I try to fight. Cause you don't know the things you say, the words that hurt, that push my heart into the dirt, into the earth. No, you don't know. Since you don't know how to love. You don't know how to love. You don't know how to love. You don't know, since you don't know, you don't know. You don't know how to love. You don't know how to love. You don't know how to love. You don't know how to love, yeah.
Woo! And what's the name of that song?
So it's You Don't Know How to Love. And I actually wrote that song when I was going through a huge breakup. And I was feeling a little angry and angsty. And this song just came out.
It's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you. Thank you guys.
And what's your next one?
So for my next song, I will be playing the guitar. It is a little bit of a sadder, slower song, so forgive me for if I'm y'all sad up in here, but I write a lot of depressing songs. But no, this song is called Angel, and it's basically a song about someone who I was with, who I consider kind of like my guardian angel, and they leave me. And so I end up at a loss and wishing for them to come back. So this is Angel. I'm just gonna pull up something really quick. I'm just gonna grab my pick. I wasn't ready. Okay, it's definitely better with a pick. I hold you close, dear, in the deep of the night. You're on my shoulder. You turn me right. Where are you driving in the midst of the night? I need your guidance. I need your love. I want you home now, my pretty angel. Why would you leave me all by myself? Pretty angel, I'm alone now, and I need you. I need you, angel, angel, angel. you home now, my pretty angel. Why would you leave me all by myself, pretty angel? I am alone now, and I need you, and I need you, angel,
Woo! Thank you so much, Samara. That was beautiful. And you did 2 originals on my show, which I think people are so happy to hear your original music, because we've heard you do a bunch of covers, but it's like when you do your thing and you share your originals, it just takes it to a whole nother level. Of course.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Thank you guys also for being
Of
so
course,
positive
of
and
course.
responsive.
I'm just
I
gonna
love
read through
all
some
of
of these
that.
comments. Just Jazz says, sing. Web the Ruler says, get it, gal. El awesome. Dr. Ansar 44 says, thank you for sharing. Tiga says, sang it. Yes. Dr. Ansar 44 says, beautiful angel. So do you have some time for some questions for the room? Beautiful. So guys, if you're in the room
Sure,
right now, and you have questions, please feel free to put them in the comments below, and Samara will answer them right here live on the spot.
What y'all want to ask?
What does success mean to you?
Success. That's a good question. I guess I would say where I'm able to support myself artistically, while also at the same time gaining a bit of wow, that's a really good question. I never really thought about it that much. But I guess I would say also when I come to a certain point in my career where my music is beginning to affect many people, you know, the art is really what is being noticed and what is being spread, and seeing the effect that it has on people, and if it's a mass number of people, I guess I would say that to me would be a success. You know, because really I'm here for the music, and I'm here for how it reaches people. And so if it's able to touch other people the way that my music has touched me, then I guess that would
I think that's so cool, because sure, when you release a song and someone says to you, hey, this song touched me, I was going through this really difficult time, they tell you their story, and then it's kind of like you guys bond over your shared experience with that song.
Definitely, for sure. I mean, because as I said before, you know, grief is relatable, pain is relatable, and so we all kind of come together on, you know, the things that we've been through grief wise. You know, it brings us closer together. You know, empathy, you know, understanding. Those things bring us together as individuals, which I feel is the power.
And sometimes I feel like when people don't have somebody to turn to, they don't want to say anything, but then they listen to a song and they're like, oh my gosh, that song says everything that I'm feeling. And then they just feel that connection with that artist because of it.
Yeah, definitely. And when it happens, you kind of feel like, all right, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. You know, the music is, whether it touches one person or it touches millions of people, you know, that I feel in general as an
Okay,
artist
so we
is
have some questions.
success.
I'm just going to scroll back up. So Dr. Anzar 44. I've been watching Samara since her time on The Voice. How did getting bumped from the show impact where you are in your career?
Being bumped from the show. Um, I would say it kind of had it was kind of difficult for me when I was kicked off the show. But there are a lot of elements that come into play when a singer no longer is on the show. You know, it's not solely based on talent, and I think it's hard to like as an artist separate
Yep.
that when you first are kicked off the show. But the show definitely, regardless of how far I got, still boosted, you know, my audience and boosted, you know, the amount of people that are now listening to and watching what I'm doing. So either way, I feel like overall the effect of being on the show and whether I was kicked off the
Yeah,
show
I
is
think
still
because it gives you
positive.
such a huge platform. Like when they put the videos from The Voice on YouTube and they get like 2 to 3 million streams. Like it's crazy the amount of people that are able to see these videos from The Voice.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, definitely. You know, you have a whole new audience that is out there, you know, and is actually passionate about, you know, what you're gonna do with
Yeah.
your music and what you're gonna do with
Yeah.
your career. And
Duppy
it's a level
Movie
feeling.
says, what makes a great studio session? Very good.
Ooh, that's a good question. Um, I guess when I guess when we all come up with something that we like, you know, we all show up to, because sometimes, you know, when we come into the studio, we don't have a song idea in mind. We kind of are just like in the studio fiddling around. You know, one of the guys will be on the keyboard, and then like I'll be in the box, like coming up and singing something, or maybe someone already has a beat and they want us and want me to come in and sing on top of the beat, and we kind of create something. So I guess a successful session is really when we're working on the music that we want to be working on, music that moves us in the studio. I feel like, you know, is when we feel we're having a successful, you know, session. Because a session could take up so much time of
Yeah.
just going over, you know, a single vocal. And it's trying to, I guess, you know, get all the pieces and make sure all the pieces of the music are right before we move on to the next. Or it can be a very, you know, random process depending on the type of artist that you are. You know, I kind of am like a go with the flow artist. So like if someone comes up with an idea and then like I hear it and we all like it, we're like,
Yeah.
oh, that's dope, let's do that. You know, we'll like run with it. And you know, I feel like that's where the success is. I mean, I feel like the only way you could fail at a session is if you're doing absolutely nothing. And you're just chilling in the studio, you know.
Duppy Movie also wants to know, what's your creative process like?
Like my musical creative process, it's also pretty varied. I mean, usually when I come up with a song, I'm usually writing the lyrics first, just because the lyrics are usually what comes to me. But, you know, after I studied music a bit, you know, I started to compose my own music as well. So, like, sometimes a melody might come to me first. And then, you know, based on like how the music makes me feel emotionally, I'll come up
Yeah.
with a story based off of that. You know, I feel like melody by itself still has a message that it's trying to reach. And, you know, depending on how it makes you specifically feel, that message can be
Yeah.
different. So it varies for sure. But either way, you know, the music making
Yes.
process is so much fun.
LD says, how can we donate? So do you have a Venmo or like a Cash App that you want to share?
I do definitely have a Venmo and a Cash App, which I have on my link tree. If you look on either my website or if you look on my Instagram or even on my TikTok
Okay.
or Twitter, I have my link tree posted. And there you can scroll down and look to where it says donate, and you can
Yes!
donate some money
Do good music.
for the
Support good
music.
music. So LD, after this interview's over, go to her link tree. Oh,
Oh, that's actually my mom.
oh, mom!
Thanks,
Queenie
mom.
says, how do you plan on moving forward with getting your music out to the world?
Um, I'm definitely trying to save up some funds because making music is expensive. But also, I have like a couple of distributors in mind for when the music is also released. Also, I have a lot of like concept art in mind for like the album and like when I release the photos and like when I actually come up with live dates because I definitely want to have some live performances for you guys, mostly in New York City. And maybe hopefully like through So Far Sounds, I'll be able to also do, my music in different states if that's definitely a possibility. But mostly I'm trying to just get the music done, the music done and recorded, which is a process. And then when I do, I'm definitely gonna let all of you guys know, like
Yeah,
go on Spotify, go on iTunes, go to all the mediums to buy the music, and then from there, I'm definitely gonna work on doing
very
live
cool. Yeah,
performances
and
and
I
live
think it's cool
concerts for
once the
sure.
music does finally come out, people can add it to their playlist. They can share, they can like do so much with it. And I think it's really cool when people add certain music to their playlist because then you as the artist, you're like, oh, someone's listening to this song that I, right now. Like that's so cool, right?
Yeah. So it's so dope. Technology, I mean, like it has its downs, but definitely its ups, especially like in terms
Yeah.
of like getting your music out there to a lot of people. And so Spotify has
Yes.
definitely like changed the music industry in itself, and it's helped a lot of artists, and I feel like it's also hurt some artists. But in general, I feel like it's good to have a medium where people from around the
Yeah,
world
I
can
think that's so
experience your
cool,
music
especially with
online.
something like Discover Weekly. And if people in this room are not familiar with Spotify, Discover Weekly literally puts new songs that they think that you like based into a playlist. And it's really cool because I've actually found musicians for this show on my Discover Weekly. And I like literally reached out to this guy the other day from LA. I'm like, this really cool song of yours popped up in my Discover Weekly. So here we are.
Yeah, yeah. It's also like a great way because it's kind of like it's like
Yeah,
a new way of like actually just like the radio. Because like the radio back in the day was like
yeah,
the way that music would get out and people would hear you. So now we have Spotify, and so like when you become one of those artists that's featured on like these like specialty
yeah.
playlists, that's when you start to like really get the
Yeah, and
variety
it's
and
yeah,
people really start to notice you.
it's so important, and
Get
like
on.
because then all these people can hear your music. Amazing. So, Samara,
Definitely.
any final words for the room?
I guess I would just like to say thank you to my interviewer, to you, Ashley, for having me on the show and thinking of me for this. I'm incredibly honored. Definitely want to say thank you to everybody who came into the room or is still in the room tonight, and for all of the love and support that everybody has been giving me throughout, not only just like in
Mhm.
recent weeks, but in my entire singing career. I have so much love for everybody, and hopefully, you guys will be patient with me and you'll stay tuned for when I finally release this music. And I know you guys are going to be feeling it. So, if you just follow me in this journey, I'm sure you're going to be rewarded. Definitely. So, thank you
Yes,
guys
stay
so
patient,
much.
guys.
So
The
much
new
love.
music is coming. It will be released soon. And if you don't already, please make sure to follow Samara and go on to TikTok. Where else can they find you? IG. Where else?
Twitter. I have a website. Just look at my link tree on either Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, any of those sites, and you'll find all of the places where you can look me up. I'm also on YouTube as well. I'm all over
when
the
the
map.
new music comes out,
All
you have to come back on the show and tell everybody everything about this music. Cool? Yes, let's do it.
Oh,
so,
definitely.
Guys, if you don't
That's a
already,
promise.
please make sure
For
to
sure.
follow Samara. And if you don't already, please make sure to follow me. I'm Ashley Live. If you love good music, you love supporting good music. This is episode 160. So I have all these other episodes that you can watch and more to come. So give us both a follow, support good music, be kind, stay safe, have a night, and we'll see you guys next time.